In the last hour, the Senate passed a bill that will provide an additional $500 billion to small businesses, also to hospitals, and for testing. This after both chambers reached an agreement just this afternoon. They worked very fast on this. Mark Namick takes a look at what it could mean for business owners in Ohio who were left out of the last stimulus bill.
Small businesses have been sounding off and dying off.
Estimates that the Social Security COLA for 2022 should be around 6%. Johnson says that this would be a much-needed help for benefit recipients.
It is finally happening, everybody. A $1,400 stimulus check. As the cost of living continues to rise, billions of dollars have been allocated towards new relief programs. Many people are qualifying to receive up to $2,000 in extra stimulus cash. And also, in this video, I'll be discussing the most important stimulus news, so be sure to stay tuned. I know many of you are wondering whether more fourth stimulus checks are going to be out to the American people this month, and according to top lawmakers, millions of people across the country will see money in their bank accounts due to the fact that states are stepping up and distributing cash. Economists recently released data to answer this question based on their analysis of how much money individual states are distributing, and the amount of cash being sent out will likely shock you. According to analysis by economists, more than half the population of the United States is going to be receiving a stimulus check this year. And this money will come from an estimated 20 U.S. state governments that have already either enacted legislation to provide stimulus bills or in the process of sending out stimulus checks. In total, the economists estimate that the combined payments across these states would add up to $31 billion. That's around a third of the total payments that were sent out by the Biden administration as part of the American Rescue Plan. The American Rescue Plan was well known for the $1,400 checks it distributed to eligible Americans across the country. The exact amount of money each individual will receive is going to be based widely on depending on location, and payments could be as low as $75 per taxpayers for those living in states like Idaho, or as high as $3,000 per individual for those living in Alaska. And while this may be good news, everybody, for the people receiving the checks, economists are concerned that this extra money could drive up demand and thus increase the amount of inflation that is occurring. Since inflation, everybody, is already at a 40-year high, this could cause some people to experience even more strain on their budgets. Hawaii's Act 115 provides a one-time payment to qualifying taxpayers. Single filers with incomes under $100,000 are eligible for $300, dropping to $100 for single filers earning $100,000. Or refunds will be issued based on the order in which 2021 individual income tax returns are filed. The Department of Revenue began issuing refunds in September, a process that will continue through November. More than half of Americans are considering taking on extra jobs to be able to pay for everyday expenses and meet the rising cost of living, as inflation remains very high. Employees in the United States are also combating the soaring prices of essentials like groceries and housing and gas by looking for other ways to increase their incomes and cut down on expenses. A new survey of more than 100,000 full-time employees found that 38% of workers have looked for a second job, while another 14% are planning to do so. And working parents are especially pinched, as nearly 70% say their pay isn't keeping up with costs, and about 47% of employees with children have looked for a second job, higher than the rate of workers overall. The cost of raising a child through high school has surged more than $300,000, up roughly from $26,000 from 2 years ago. As of September, 7.8 million Americans are working more than one job, making up 4.9% of the total workforce. The Bureau of Labor Statistics also reports that a record 440,000 Americans were working 2 full-time positions in August, compared to just 308,000 in February. The holiday hiring season could also offer job seekers opportunities to boost their incomes. Searches for several positions are indeed one of the highest levels since 2019. In contrast, demand for holiday workers has cooled down from last year as retailers anticipate weaker sales, but still remain above pre-crisis levels.
Well, I've come to Florida today to talk about 2 very, very, very important programs. 2 very important that's going to affect as many Americans as anything else, and a great deal of people in this state are going to be affected. And they're under siege by our Republican friends. And by the way, this ain't your father's Republican Party. This is a different deal right now. And there's a lot of good Republicans out there, but they're under a lot of pressure. Social Security and Medicare are the 2 things I want to talk about. You know, they've been around a long time. President Roosevelt signed the Social Security law.
S. I'm ready for cues. Go ahead.
There's been a lot of
from some of your moderate members and those up for re-election about Title 42 and the administration's decision to overturn that at the end of May. Do you think that decision should be delayed?
Look, the bottom line is, let me say,
$147,000, which is up from $142,800 in 2021. An increase of $4,200 in fact. And in 2017, the Social Security wage cap was only $127,000. So to get the maximum benefit, seniors must have been a high earner throughout their entire time in employment. Recent recipients of Social Security income, everybody, just have to wait days for the next payment, which is due to be sent out March 1st. More than 8 million people across the nation receive SSI income. According to the Social Security Administration, this year, the maximum amount for individuals has increased to $841 from $794. The benefit stands at $1,261 for a married couple if both spouses are eligible for SSI. Americans can receive both SSI and Social Security benefits. If this applies to you, you will get your next Social Security payment in the next coming days. Folks, what do you think about President Biden? Should he do a better job in increasing Social Security benefits this year? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Benefits will be sent out on that day for Americans who have received Social Security before May 1997. However, the SSA has said that Americans need to be aware of the Social Security rules that could potentially catch them off guard. For instance, if your current spouse does not qualify for their own benefits, they can claim benefits based on your earnings. An ex-spouse can also claim benefits based on your earnings. To qualify on your record, your ex-spouse must have been married to you for at least 10 years. And Americans have also been warned by the Social Security Administration.
Myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
this about Title 42. Number one, no, it shouldn't be used to hold up important things like COVID aid, number one. And number two, we're going to be working through this to see if we can come to a position that our caucus can agree on. There's divisions there now. Yes, next.
Reaction to Elon Musk buying Twitter, and Amy Klobuchar just briefed your caucus on antitrust, big tech antitrust legislation. Are you going to bring that to the floor?
Okay, on the second question, we had a very good discussion. She made very powerful presentation, and I'm working with her to see that we can get 60 votes to get to the floor. On Elon Musk, I would say, look, in many ways, Twitter has been a dark, dark place. I hope it doesn't get any darker. Yes.
The inflation package you talked about, is that going to move through regular order or budget reconciliation? And how does
The inflation, what are you talking about?
There's talk of an inflation package to combat inflation. Does that move through budget reconciliation or regular order?
Look,
how does it fit with the other reconciliation effort?
Look, reconciliation is very, very important. I met, as he came out and told people, I met with Senator Manchin this morning. Our meetings were both preliminary and good, and we're going to continue to keep talking. If you want to get rid of inflation, the only way to do it is to undo a lot of the Trump tax cuts and raise rates. No Republican is ever going to do that. So the only way...
Folks, there's a lot of good news, but the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI,